guy. How do you get these younger players to respond after a day like Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's difficult being at a place like Clemson where you're used to winning at such a high level consistently. But just understanding that you have to make a decision on what you're going to do. You can sit and sulk and complain about it, or you can fight and you can go do something about it. And that's kind of been the challenge. As soon as that game was over in the locker room, I know a bunch of leaders kind of stepped up and talked. And there's only one of two ways this thing can go, and especially, we got a game next week. You got to go play Virginia Tech. Like, that game is going to get kicked off. They're not going to cancel that game for how a young guy feels or how somebody feels, about that game on Saturday. And so you got to look forward and look past it and find a way to go play winning football again.
You mentioned leaders speaking up in the locker room. Just maybe who were some of those people that made that choice?
Cade, said some stuff, and Wade said, in our respective segments. Obviously, he talked to the offense, and Wade said some stuff to the defense. A couple other guys did, but passionate, very, very, hungry group of leaders. Who were incredibly disappointed with the result of that game, as well as the entire team. Nobody wanted it to go that way, and obviously disappointed that it did. But a bunch of guys who know, that you got to keep going. So.
Is Wade stepping into that leadership role even more as the season?
Yeah,
Is he finding his voice?
Oh yeah, he's very intense, very passionate. He's not going to shy away from, something controversial, and he's going to say what he thinks is necessary and what he believes in, and that raw emotion, that leadership. I think is something that we need, and I think it's something that's always beneficial. So he's done a really good job.
One of your former linebacker staffs did meet yesterday and said Wade has the potential to be one of those first day guys in the NFL draft at some point. Do you see that?
Oh yeah, he's got the measurables. His practice intensity, his daily habits, how he's aligned, how he's wired is not the norm for a bunch of guys. And he loves to win.
I guess when you guys went back and watched the film as a defense, what are some of the key breakdowns that led to some of the rushing yards they were able to get? Yeah,
obviously, very, very poor job defending the run, over 8 yards a carry, I think. You're not going to be a championship caliber defense on that day if you're giving up that many yards per carry. Obviously you got to, in the run game, you got to set the edge, and then you got to fill gaps. When a shot's there, when a gap's open, when you find a run through, you got to go punch it and take it. You wait too long. When you're supposed to hit the gap, all of a sudden you get cracked. Offensive line climbs to the second level, and they're going to get on you. They're going to hold you. They're going to be all over you, and it can be hard to get off of that. So, just understanding, your D line's going to take up those gaps, and your backers, your secondary level fitters, and then your third level fitters with the safeties. You just got to do a better job of anticipating those gaps opening up, getting some vertical knockback, and setting the edge on the perimeter.
Is the mentality to stop the run, is it more of a want to because of what's involved in being physical and your technique and things?
Well, I think to a point, yes, you have to have the want to. But if you get too eager, too aggressive, and you try to force a play that's not there, that's not yours, and all of a sudden you're supposed to be, levering it, and you got GT pullers in the boundary, you got three fitters, you got, two gaps, or two guys, three fitters. Somebody's got to lever it, somebody's got to split it, and somebody's got to spill it. And if you're the guy who's supposed to lever it, but all of a sudden you want to slide inside of that guard or that tackle, and you want to go make that play, and then you're going to cost the whole defense because now we don't have an edge, right? And so obviously having a want to, but also being disciplined enough, to stay in your gap, to be gap sound, to not put my outside arm on the guy, and so he doesn't grab me. Just being incredibly sound, being incredibly disciplined, and just making the plays that are there. And when you make them, you got to be incredibly physical and violent doing so, getting the guys to the ground.
Is those things kind of what you were seeing though? Was it just guys out of gap integrity, or they?
At times, yeah. Yeah, guys just, like I just said, you're supposed to be on one side of the guy. You're supposed to have this arm free. And all of a sudden, I'm down the middle of the guy, and I engage him here. And then I try to fall off and make the play, but I'm a yard too short. Now I got to dive for him, and it doesn't work. But just stuff like that all night. And then you got a reverse that goes for however many yards it went for. And obviously, that doesn't help your statistics. But, the ball's going away from me. I'm the edge defender. I've always got to anticipate it coming back in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a reverse, a boot, or the bin back off the tackle. So just being patient, being disciplined, and just making the plays that are there.
After the game, Wade nor RJ knew that you guys would be without Shelton and Peter for the second half. Did you know, and how does that get communicated at halftime, what the personnel is?
I didn't know either. I think I found out after the game or Monday, to be honest with you. The players, I don't think, are too worried about who's going to be in or who's not. Typically, you go in the locker room, you get some hydration, and as soon as you get in there, you go and sit down in our defensive meeting area and get the corrections. We got a projector in there and go over what we did wrong, go over what we did right. So we're pretty locked in on that and not really too concerned on who's available and who's not. So, yeah.
How do you see your role right now? I mean, the snaps are up and down. Kind of is it more of just the leadership, helping the other guys, or are you trying to get back on the field? I guess what's kind of
obviously I don't think I've played that much, but that's my role is my role, and if I'm a 2, then I'm going to be the best 2, and I'm an older guy. I'm pretty vocal at times, and so finding a way to be a leader in different ways. I've always been told, you don't have to be happy with your role, but you've got to be content with your role. And whatever that is, you've got to embrace it. That's your job. That's your role. Well, then you've got to be the best at it. There's 100 and however many guys on the team. Only 22 can start at a time if you don't include special teams. And, just coming in, I bring it every day as if I'm going to start for whatever game if I'm playing in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's my mentality. That's my mindset. Just be very intense, be very intentional, be precise at all times. Get every single note I can, watch extra tape, get extra work out to practice, take every rep that I can. Every rep that RJ's in, I'm watching. And that's how you have to prepare, whether you're a starter, whether you're a 2, whether you're a 3, whether you're a scout team guy. You can't have some sort of different intensity, because all of a sudden you're not the guy now. It can't work like that, because all of a sudden you are the guy. And now it's 3rd and 6, and you're playing Virginia Tech, and you didn't prepare for it all week or all season, and everybody's counting on you to do your job, and you can't get it done because you didn't prep for it. So take my role very seriously, whether I'm the guy or not the guy.
You, as a defense, you guys are very proud because of obviously the tradition and success that unit's had over the years. You kind of get mad when you see the results and what's going on, and how you guys as a unit kind of looking at the rest of this year.
Yeah, I think if you look at the statistics, you could say, I don't really typically try to compare it to, other stats or other defenses that we've had in the past. Just kind of make the best of what we have. I think some of our stats are probably skewed from these other games we've played with, trying to get younger guys some reps. And I don't think that that's an excuse whatsoever. But that's the reality is, you have a younger guy going there and they're not fully locked in, or they just don't understand it yet, and how serious it is, and how one step can cost you in the Valley. And so I think stats might say something or another, but obviously from this past week, it's not because of the tradition necessarily, but just because you expect to play winning football every week. And, you're a hungry dude who puts a constant amount of work in, and it doesn't necessarily go your way. And that's kind of what frustrates you more. You work so hard, and then, it just doesn't go your way. You were not gap sound, you weren't doing the right thing at times, and it'll cost you. I mean, the smallest mistakes will do it to you. And so I think that kind of frustrates you more than anything.
Anybody else for Tyler? All right, Tyler. Thank you, man.
Thanks.
Appreciate your time.
Now,